Next up, we have Menu Theme from the Valheim soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, members get early access. Artists, I want to collaborate with you. If anybody wants anything like Mongolian throat singing, like reach out to me. I have an entire spiel for that at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Otherwise, we have the disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. Menu theme, Valheim. Let's go. Okay, so we start with quite a few with quite a few layers over here. We start with what sounds to be a harp, doing a little bit of arpeggios, right? So arpeggios, once again, let me just bring up this tool. Arpeggio being when you play a chord one note at a time. So if I bring up my keyboard over here, here's C major, and here is C major in an arpeggio. So it is a very, very simple thing to do, but then again, you can just repeat it, right? Like you can repeat it. Like you can go up and down. You can really take it. You can play them in between. It doesn't have to be in that order, so you can do whatever order you want. Then, of course, we are having what sounds to be a tuba, maybe trombones, doing that really cool Hans Zimmer, you know, the boom kind of thing that was very popularized by the soundtrack of the film Inception. The film Inception, Hans Zimmer accidentally started a musical revolution. With that, Hans Zimmer did what every academic has been wanting to do ever since John Cage, which was just revolutionize music. All he did was realize that if you hit the trombone, you let them play really loud, you get this like almost war horn sound out of it. For the this applies for the tuba and the trombones, which for those of you who haven't seen what a tuba looks like, here's what a tuba looks like. There's the regular variation, which is the one that is held very uncomfortably. It's a massive instrument. And then there's of course the marching band, one of the marching band variations. This one has a different tuba. It's of the tuba family. This one has its own name, the one that you wrap around yourself. It's the same length of brass tubing. It's just that an engineer realized that you can just shape it slightly differently and you get a better sound, a more wearable type of instrument. Of course, this one is not as conducive for reading sheet music in an orchestra. Way better if you're in a marching band. And this one, of course, you don't want to be carrying around this kind of thing. How long should each song be analyzed? As long as it takes. So, yeah, so if you ever meet somebody who is in a marching band and is using one of these, fear that person. Fear that person, because you need very strong lungs. Look at the size of this instrument, right? That's a lot of air you have to push through. That means you need strong lungs. You need the right, you need strength. Like you need to have a strong upper body to be able to do this. The precision to be able to sing this, because playing a brass instrument is insane, is very difficult, because the valves are not what change the notes. You are via the harmonic series. That's a very different thing. And on top of that, you are power walking for hours on end while playing the instrument in sync with the rest of the marching band. If you are doing that while carrying one of these, You do not want to mess with a person like that. So this is the tuba, and here is the trombone. The trombone, of course, being the one with the slide. Very, very different type. This is probably invented by somebody who couldn't figure out the valves of the trumpet and decided, you know what, I'm just going to make a slide instead of it. Because the point of the valves in the trumpets and the tubas and the French horns is that it changes the length of the brass cabling of the tubes of the pipes, because that's the whole point. The reason the slide is there is to change the length of the pipes. That's all it is. That's all it is. When you press different combinations of the valves, if we go back to the tuba, you can see how this loops a lot. Some of these loops will only be engaged if you press the right buttons. Same goes for the trumpet, same goes for the French horn. And if you press them in different combinations, you might get the entirety of the loop of all the pipe. You might not. It depends very highly on which ones you're pressing. So, in order to get away from the valve system like that, the trombone just replaces it with a slider, which comes with its set of challenges, because then you need to understand very carefully. You have to be able to position the slide in precise places, otherwise you're out of tune. And being out of tune is one of the most devastating sins you can do in any sort of ensemble. So trombones are very, very much a weird instrument. And yeah, VJ, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome today. So yeah, we're having that, and then we have another plucked instrument. Sounds kind of like a harp at the top. Might not be giving us what I believe might be our initial motif. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. And yeah, if you look at the soundtrack of Inception, that's when it started. The movie, everything that is action-oriented will have a trailer with the boom. Simple as. All right, let's see where this goes. Ooh. And another thing we're having at the bottom is the double basses. We have double basses. I almost mistook them for percussion. So we have double basses at the very, very bottom, giving us an initial beat. Bum, bum. Sounds kind of like a heartbeat. Bum, bum. Double bass, of course, being this massive instrument, is the largest of the viol family. It's the one that you have to play standing up. It's a massive, massive instrument. Very, like in general, the viol family is not easy to play, but the double basses are particularly difficult as well. It's wild, and we're having that. So, no, Sergonizer, we're not talking about the first 5 seconds. We have moved on to second number 11. Thank you very much. Let's see where this goes. Oh, we got a piano now. Oh my god. Okay, so we're having the piano playing this like repeated note. Giving us kind of a ceiling, kind of a steady beat. Then we are having a back and forth. It sounds like a call and response, of course, and response being a musical conversation. We're having the double basses play, and then we're having what sounds to be the trombones and the French horns playing a chord in response. I didn't show the French horn. French horn being, of course, this one over here. Beautiful instrument, and unlike the trumpets, trombones, and tubas, which usually have the bell pointing forwards, or in the case of the tuba, upwards, and then you incline forwards, the French horn is pointed backwards and downwards. And in order to hold it, unlike the other instruments, you have to stick your hand into the bell. So yeah, it changes the tone, and it gives it a way warmer thing. The French can be beautiful. No, this is the French variation of the horn. Like this instrument, the French horn, what the French inventors did is that they added the valve system of trumpets and trombones to what used to just be the regular horn, because they used to look like this. And the difficult part about this is that this horn would be tuned in a single key. And then in order to play a different key, you would have to either pick up a separate horn or disassemble this one and pick a different one, because the different keys, the different notes that you can get depends on the amount on the number of loops that you get from the piping over here. So what the French horn does is that it includes the valve system, which changes the length of the pipes depending on which valves you're pressing, and that gives you access to all of the keys instead of having to go the old school route. For example, back in the times of Mozart, for example, if you had a piece that had a horn, it could be the horn in one key, and that was it. And then if you had to switch keys, you would have to compose the piece in a way that you would have to give the horn player time to either change horns or swap out the whole thing. So, yeah. Absolutely insane that a little bit of engineering brought us into this absolute insanity. And now we're having a call and response. The call is being done, I think, by the double basses, the response by the brass playing the horns, so the lower end being answered by the higher. Let's see where this goes. Ah, there's our motif. Okay, so now we bring, so it's not entirely a motif, it's more of a solo. We have taken away the brass instruments, and we are now having the harp and the double basses playing the accompaniment. Accompaniment being the backing track, they are not the focus. That's what accompaniment is. And then we are having, I think this is a violin playing a solo. So when you're making music, you want a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much of the same thing, too much repetition, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. There is one universal exception, which is solos. Solos, you can do whatever you want. As long as it sounds cool enough or it fits enough, you can get away with it. And it seems we're having something like that right now. We're having some motifs here that have not really been, that hadn't been introduced before. So let's see. Is the motif pretty much a track's skeleton? No. The motif is a track's soul. The skeleton would most likely be your rhythm section. Your everything else would be every different organ, and the motif itself would be the soul. It's a lot more abstract, it's a lot more irrational, and it is almost mythical in a sense, because it's a very meta extrapolated thing that you have to overanalyze for everything. So yeah, it's a very strange thing. Not the drums, but your percussion and your beat. So, yeah, at least in drum bass, yeah, but yeah, it depends on the genre. But yeah, the motif, and that's why whenever I talk about motifs, I talk about it in such irrational terms, because it's a very irrational thing. So, yeah, let's continue. Okay, we take a little break. So we are still having those double basses and harps. Man. And we're just going through the solo. We're doing variations on the solo. Some percussion. There's the original motif. Yeah, and we're adding we have a little bit of percussion now in the background, but we are still pretty much just focusing on the double basses, doing the heartbeat, and the harp, giving us the thing. And of course, harps, if anybody doesn't know what a harp looks like, here is, it's a surprisingly difficult instrument to play, especially if you're trying to play different keys. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument, but it's very tricky to play and to write for. So let's see. Let's just see where it goes, because I think right now we have a variation on the accompaniment. We're slowly escalating. We're bringing in the brass again, playing some block chords. Very subtle, very subtle. It's almost blending with the back. The violin solo is increasing more. And there we go. I like how we're usually you would see that we use a symbol, let's see, symbol, which, yeah, these are symbols, and usually this is how you would how they are played in an orchestra. There are other variations, like the ones on stands, like you would see on drum kits. And we are using it as a transitionary instrument, which is very common thing. Usually you're going to use maybe a harp or maybe a cymbal or something like that to make it a nice vertical slice of, okay, this section is done, let's move on to this other section. We bring back the tuba, maybe the trombones, doing those booms to see this. The rest of it has stayed almost the same. The harp is still arpeggiating our chords. The double basses are still giving us not just any kind of beat, they're giving us a heartbeat, which I find to be very cool. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, we're adding a little bit of extra echo to it. There's the piano. Oh, I see what's doing. Okay, so the piano, it's a synth. And what it's doing, it's engaging in counterpoint with the harp. So counterpoint being the study of melodies, how they develop, how they interact with one another, usually under the context of there being more than one. And as I said, arpeggios are playing your chords one note at a time, essentially turning your arpeggio, your chord, into a melody. So by enacting some counterpoint to it, you can apply regular principles of it. And what we're doing with this one over here, I couldn't hear it because some of the other notes were being drowned by the rest of the ensemble. We are having contrary motion with this keyboard. Evan, welcome today. How you doing? So, contrary motion is one of the three main types of motion that you have in counterpoint. The other two being similar and parallel. So let me go up, down to up, right? So similar motion, parallel motion means that you have two melodies that are the same shape. They're just starting from different points on the scale. So we're gonna do our ever so trusty C major motif, right? We have that in C. Let me move this over here. So then if we were to do the same shape in, let's say we start in E instead, we have that going on. And if we play them both together, we engage in parallel motion. You get this very, very beautiful double melody. Similar motion means that they're mostly going the same way, and the start and end points would mostly be like parallel motion, but the in-betweens are different. So we could have something like very different melodic things. Like we could go... that kind of thing. And then contrary motion being one goes one way, the other one goes another way. That kind of thing. And right now we are having the harps playing those arpeggios going up, while this new, it's kind of like a piano, kind of like a synth, playing the arpeggios downwards. So we are having something like, we're having the harp going something like this, while we're having the other one going. So I guess the two would be something like this. So we're having both of them kind of like closing into one another, giving us these like arrow shapes in the melody, and it turns the accompaniment to partially the melody. It's really cool. Let's see where it goes. So we do the same thing that we did before, and this time we bring in a cello solo. Cello, of course, being short for violon cello, being this one over here that you play. It's a smaller version of the double bass or a larger version of a violin that you play sitting. You play this one sitting because it's still a pretty large instrument, unless you are like I don't know, Apocalyptica or something like that, that they have their specially made cellos. You can see like you have the rod over here sticking from the bottom to adjust for the person's size, and then you just rest the instrument against yourself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful instrument that has a very wonderful range between the lower end and the higher end. It's very, very beautiful. There's one piece that Stravinsky uses where he makes the cellos play way higher than they should. That piece is called Petrushka. Petrushka by Stravinsky, by Igor Stravinsky. You hear the first few moments, you first hear the flutes doing their thing, and then what you hear next is not violins, it's not violas, it's cellos made by Stravinsky to play those really, really high notes. Stravinsky would do that a lot. He would tell the instrument players to try and play further from what they were used to. So yeah, so now we're having the solo brought in, giving us these beautiful melodies, but in the cello instead, which of course is the composer here engaging in orchestration or instrumentation, being the art of picking the right instruments for the right sound, for the right texture, for the right psychological responses, that kind of thing. And over here this time around, this going from the violin, which is usually on the higher end, of the spectrum of notes, to now the cello being on the polar opposite, or almost the polar opposite. It has that whole, light and dark, night and day kind of contrast. Let's see where it goes. And this time we're keeping the piano. We're keeping the piano arpeggios. Or the second harp, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna call it a piano for simplicity's sake. I think that's still the cello. That is not the violin, that's the cello playing on the higher end. What a beautiful melody. Ooh. And now we bring, very briefly, we have a double bass and a violin playing a doubling being when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing at the same time. And here is when a very clear example. We had the double bass very, very low, kind of at the lowest place we could find it, doing the melody, and then we had the violin very high up, giving us that same shape, giving us this ceiling and floor kind of feeling. Oh, this is really cool. Let's see where it goes. There we go again. Just looking at the keys, the piano itself. Sometimes, yes. Ooh, sounds like there's one more. Oh, so yeah, we're adding these layers of violin, the doubling. It's beautiful thematically. It makes so much sense, because a lot of the times you usually have in music, you introduce element 1 or player 1, then you introduce element 2 or player 2, and then you introduce both of them together. This is such a common thing to do because it works. And right now we have that. We introduce the violin first, and then the cello. Now both of them, but I think we replaced the cello with a double bass, which, by the way, the double bass has almost the same as the cello. It just has the same range as the cello, just from an octave or two lower. Let's see where it goes. Oh. Ooh, right there. We had a little bit of canonic imitation. Canonic imitation being a type of call and response. However, canonic imitation, because we had this, it's either another harp or it's a piano. It's something. I'm going to call it a piano for the sake of simplicity, even though I think it's a harp, a second harp. And canonic imitation, what it is when you have another line of music imitating what the other one did. It is, of course, built on the concept of a canon. Canon being a music that usually repeats in a certain way that can then build upon itself. The most famous canon that exists, of course, being row, row, row your boat. You know, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. If you get 4 people to sing that together, what you can do is first person starts singing. When the second person, and you just loop, the first person starts singing and you just sing it over and over and over and over again. When the first person starts gently down the stream, the second person starts from the top. When the second person reaches gently down the stream, the third person starts from the top. When the third person starts gently down the stream, the fourth person starts from the top. And you get this really cool self-layering melody that is just incredible. That is the concept of a canon. And the concept of canonic imitation is that instrument 1 plays a melody, instrument 2 responds with that same melody. And that's what we just had. We just had this very cool, like ceiling and floor, violin and double bass giving us the melody, which was then imitated by this piano harp thing. I think it's another harp, but yeah, let's see where it goes. Oof. And now we're just one last run of the cello and the violin. And now they are basically just spreading the melody a lot more, not quite elongated, but a little bit of elongation. Elongation being a way that you can use to develop your material, which just means that you're slowing down, spreading out the melody a little bit more. We're adding a little bit more silence between the notes. For example, if we were to take our C major motif, right? And if we were to elongated, let's say, let's put it on top of a arpeggio, right? Like a, let's say that's our motif, right? And then if we were to elongate it, it means we're slowing down the motif. So we could go something like that, or in even more extreme cases like this one, we even add a little bit of extra silence to it. So we're adding more and more, and it adds more drama, it builds more anticipation, which is what exactly is happening over here. Let's see how this ends. Because we have elongated the melody. And by the way, the opposite of elongation is reduction. The opposite is reduction. Let's see where it goes. Where you speed it up. And one last whoop, and okay, and then it loops again. So yeah, we have one last hit of the cymbal, and then it loops again. And then it loops back. Oh boy. Oh, that was great. That was great. And yeah, I mean, this is built to loop. And I'm pretty sure if it were to be the piece itself, you just let the cymbal do the thing, and it ends with nothing, right? So that I loved it. There you have it. That was the menu theme of the Valheim soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which is a real plausible possibility right now, blows my mind. Thank you once again, everybody, for being here. I do not take this for granted. So yes, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers, I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, and I will fully produce, record, and voice act an audiobook for it. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. We also had a member offer to do like a Discord Nitro giveaway. I might do some like video game giveaways, stuff like that. We'll see, right? So yes, this has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alting, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the videos, the streams with your friends, with your families friends, with your friends' families. Those are two distinct concepts, by the way. With your online communities, your offline communities, whoever, just go spread the word. And by the way, if you have any other ideas on what we could do to build more hype, let me know. We'll do as much as we can. Artists, if you are an artist on YouTube and you would like to collaborate with me, or you want any of my musical skills, whether it is that of my guitar or Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old kind of thing, or voice acting or singing, or you need help with anything in composition, or you want to figure something out, let me know. Reach out. We'll make as much of it work out as possible. Just reach out, let me know. And if you're in the audience, you know any musicians that could benefit from it, let them know. Reach out. Do not harass anyone. Do not spam anyone. Don't be a rat about it. Be cool, all right? Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions on what to do. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you are not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. I forgot to pick the town again. So if you live in Marabitanas and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Don't worry. Just go to the Discord or the Twitch, and they both have the schedule showing in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. It's linked down below. It's where the gaming after show recordings go after they happen. We record them on the main channel on the live stream, and then the recordings go there. Link down below, or just search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd, just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. The menu theme from the Valheim soundtrack, that was really good. That was really, really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.